Hi, sweetie. I just made this video to tell you that I love you and just to give you something to think about because you might be bored. Yesterday you go to sleep and then you do big dreams and then you wake up today and everything's new. There's a new day, the sun comes out, then it goes away. But everything about you is different. Because your cells multiply and then die off and then change. And even everything going on in your brain after you sleep changes. So technically you're a new you. So who were you in the past? Were you, or is it just a past you? I don't know, man, it's complicated. All I know is that, the world's your oyster. I guess we can't really, tell what you are. If you sit and, you just focus and think about what you're looking at, it feels like blocking everything else out, it feels like you're a thing looking through eyes inside a thing, looking at a thing. So you must be your brain, right? But how much of your brain is you? Well, there is a procedure called a hemispherectomy where in young patients who need to have this happen, they do this. So I don't have a brain, but I've got this. Anyway, they cut it in half here, like this, and it's a lot smoother. But they seal off all the issues, and then half of it, the one that was not good, they put away, right? But the other half is the person, and they end up living a really healthy life, right? So what if we didn't put the other half away, What if we had a skull, an empty skull, and we put one half of the brain that was still living, right? Or if it was healthy in that skull and the other half stayed in your brain, right? Which one are you? Because we know scientifically that both sides of the brain can survive separate. So are you both you? Are they both you? And if they are, do they have the same responses to things and stuff like that? The amygdala is technically still intact? What? Food for thought. Aren't you glad you opened this video? We don't actually have many answers to this question. Well, with consciousness, you can kind of think you can't define consciousness without defining what isn't consciousness, right? So, we know that ChatGPT isn't conscious because it doesn't have what we have, intent, feeling. It doesn't feel anything. It pretends to be it, but we have this internal thing that they don't. The chatbots don't, called intent and feeling and cognitive thought. I know I intend to do something, but I don't know that you intend to do something, or think the way I do. I can't prove that, right? Science can't prove that. So everybody you talk to at work, you don't know, and you scientifically can't prove that they're not just zombies, like chatbots, right? Just pretending, just giving the right output to trick you. This is called a philosophical zombie. It's a whole thing. People have talked about it for bloody millennia. And it's the why we don't know consciousness, because we can't prove that other people have it, so we can't prove that it exists. The best we've got is consciousness disorders. So there's anosognosia, and it's where it's kind of a hypochondriac, where somebody thinks there's something wrong with them, but there isn't. But it's the opposite. So they have people who make up that they'll just create, their brain will create these reasons as to why they can't do things when they're disabled, and that's the illness. It's a consciousness disorder, How about that? Boring? I'm trying not to be boring. So when we severed the brain, there were no connections made because the patients were so young, so it was okay. But with these individuals, they go through a trauma, and the stem between the brain parts, right, it gets cut. So you say to one who might like have a broken arm or something, and you say, oh, can you lift their arm? And the brain goes, yes, I can lift my arm, I'll just do that right now. And then it's not connected, but the brain doesn't know that. It doesn't get that information back. So when it receives nothing back, right, like from your eyes, seeing your arm not move, when it receives nothing back from that signal, it just makes up these reasons why it couldn't. So it goes, oh, I didn't feel like it, or I'm a bit tired, that's why I didn't do that. Like, that's how deep this goes. So if you can make up reasons why something didn't happen, like directly against evidence that you've received from your brain, how do you know that anything you do is real? And how do you know what you perceive is real and the decisions you make from what you perceive are correct? I mean, damn. What a quandary, am I right? There's this one called Anton Boninsky syndrome. It's kind of the same deal. But like they'll make up the reasons. Oh, and there's this poor little lady who like had a stroke and she can't see out of one of her like brains, right? So this whole section doesn't receive information. So like when she draws, she only draws half the drawing. But if you point towards the other half of the drawing, she'll go, oh, I missed that somehow. And then she'll like make up a reason. And then she'll fill it in because you pointed it out to the right side. It's so interesting. I mean, I think it's interesting. But there have been more complicated studies or philosophical thoughts, like the swamp man, where like this guy is walking through a swamp and then he gets hit by lightning, trigger warning, and then a lightning strikes right next to him, and it actually creates like him, like a copy, like on a molecular level, because that's, you know, something that can mathematically happen. So is that him now? Like, is it just like bang bang? I don't know. Like, and nobody knows that answer. I guess the question I'm trying to ask is, who are you? We'll never know, I guess. Well, not now. I think it's comforting to know that you don't know, you know? Like, okay, so there's ambiguity and all that. I don't know the answer to any of that. I can't prove that I'm conscious. I can't prove that you're conscious. But having that sort of like, it's almost like a personal secret, you know, that sanctity inside something that no one else can access. I don't know. Just kind of makes it feel more personal and special. So I think that for now, the answer to that question is, you are your secret, right? Your special self. No one else can interfere with that. And that kind of secret is really important to keep safe. So just keep yourself safe and know that we love you more than anything in the world. It's very special to have that. We'll always be here for you. I love you. That's all.